Alright, so hello everyone, and welcome back to Factorio. So let's click resume, and as you can see, we are sitting on Vulcanus with basically nothing going on around here. So we are going to use the old drone system to just basically work off of Novice for now. So we have rockets launching, sending up what looks like repair packs and solar panels up to the transport platform. Okay, I also did Google it, and this doesn't work that way. So that has to go away. And then these, we need to do that. And replace those with speed inserters. Alright, so that is fine. Now this is all set up, so apparently you cannot use cargo bays like chests, and you also can't use chests. So the only way for me to actually build a stockpile of ammunition would be to bring it all the way back to the hub, which seems impractical. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just expand this production line out a bit. So we've got this guy who can theoretically make up to 10 iron ore per second. And we need 4 of that going to the engines. So we need 6 going to these. And currently we have 4, but they're speed modules, so they're less efficient than they could be. Alright, yeah, let's take this whole thing out. And hello, cyan. Alright, so let's take all that out and then rebuild it. I have to click confirm. So these just go in like this. And then we're going to productivity module them. And I don't know how much productivity modules do. Let's see here. Do I have somewhere around here an electric furnace, which is just productivity module? I do. So they bring them down to 0.5 ore per second. So if we want 6 ore per second out of these, then we need 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is actually, hang on. I don't want that to go that wide. That seems inefficient. Instead, how about we redesign this so I can just add it in as a second row. So if you go onto that and across like so, then the iron ore will go on this row. The iron plates can go on the other. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So basically we can make this a couple rows down instead of one giant row across. Actually, we could just pivot this entire thing. We could do that. Or we can just do it like this. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, no, this is actually not going to work because they're going to output to the wrong size. Alright, yeah, let's just pivot the entire thing. That'll be easier. So we take all those out. So yeah, last time we tried to make this trip, we had determined that our ammunition production was not enough to keep up. So we need more of that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is ridiculous. All right, we don't want to go that far back. That's too far back. Yeah. All right. So this is like a row of 6, and this is perfectly reasonable. So we just need to get a second row of 6 in. All right. So how about we have you run down like that, and then also, what is this belt meant to be doing? Oh, that's some resource stuff. I don't think that belt needs to actually be there. Oh wait, it does, because that machine needs to get rebuilt because it was destroyed. Alright, but we can squeeze it in like this. So that belt still exists for this to output resources onto. And then this can go... No, this is kind of terrible still. Because we're going to want more resource extraction over there, and also we need to dismantle that stuff. Okay, let's just have this loop around down here. That'll be easier. So if you just go like that, and then we're going to have to fill in all this space with foundations like that. Alright, now we can have a second row over here, and we want to have 2 belts. We want to have the output belt down the middle too, I think. Alright, so then this goes up there, and now we just have to get all of these guys set up. So you each take from this belt. You all can take inputs from this belt. And we're going to have to fill in more foundation area like that. Then you output to there. And you output to here. Alright, so that should give us all that. You need to be connected up. And so now we have a belt here of iron plates. And we just need to productivity module all of these so that they're more efficient. And then we need our ammunition. So this is going to be in the way. We're going to have to move this whole thing forwards probably. So we don't need that belt there anymore. We need an assembly machine, which makes firearm magazines. So you take 5 iron plates and make 1.25 ammunition. Now I think this is going to produce just more than 5. I think it'll produce like 6 or 7. I really hate saying those numbers now. It's just absolutely ruined. Alright, that's fine. So then we have that. And actually we can productivity module. Oh no, we can't because it's a final product. Right, so then these will output to here, and I don't know if we might need 2 long-handled inserters in order to keep up with the speed. Alright, so we have that. And now we just need to get our turrets in. So we have turrets. Let's have one there. I think we want one like back in this general area as well, just to protect in case something comes from back there. So let's get one there and then have that be connected up. Alright, so that now determines we need to have this one a little bit further forward so that the belt can get an inserter. Then we have this belt that just goes all the way down here and into that. Alright, then we need to get the rest of this output belt to split off this way and go down across to there where the existing turrets are. It's really convenient that we're just missing one singular belt spot there, which is holding up this entire thing from working, basically. Yeah, lots of unfulfilled requests right now. Alright, so this side is pretty well covered. That area is decently well covered. I feel like I want one... Actually, no, that's probably fine. It's covered by those two. And then we have that one, which... Let's just also give you a bit of a wall, just to protect you. Alright, now let's... Now that that's more or less designed, let's go back down to here and see why these guys aren't launching. No low-density structures. So we have a copper plate problem. And why is that? We have enough ore. We have enough ore, it's just that we're using a lot of copper plates on other things. And these can definitely use to be a lot faster. So, let's see here. This is copy-pasted from exactly the same blueprints as these, right? So, if I just yoink this up to like there and pop you in like that, you should work. And then we have a little bit of a gap in there because I designed it wrong. And then we can just put more in like that. And hopefully this will get the copper plates running well. We didn't get any accidental stuff there. We are going to have to reconnect the second belt up because it previously went up through here, which now isn't a thing anymore. Alright, so the drones are coming along to do all that. And we're getting the power poles in. And here comes some belts. It's fun watching them slide in at an angle like that. Just get the whole thing. Then we're getting our productivity modules in. And the beacons. Now we're mostly just waiting on the speed modules and this. Let's see here. If we chop that back to there so that it doesn't output onto this belt that we're doing here, then we can have you go up like that, and then the copper will be attached up properly again. So just gotta wait for those guys to show up. And they're making their way along bit by bit. So hopefully they can get the important ones in so that the whole thing can work. Alright, just missing these three, and then that side is functional, and now this side will be functional. And that should be a lot more copper, which hopefully will have that all sorted out. Now, a couple of these belts are red belts for no apparent reason. So let's upgrade those back to like that spot. And then all of those. Did I miss any? Yes, I missed a couple in there. And we can do similar upgrades here. And these are pointing in all sorts of weird directions, which I need to fix. Alright, I don't know if that increased speed will actually do much of anything, but hopefully it will. Alright, so this seems to be... So it seems like we're putting too much on this side, which is not at all surprising, considering that this... Okay, so this whole side needs to be fixed then. So instead of going underground, you actually go through this nice convenient gap and in onto that side, and that should fix that problem. And then in the meantime, we now have plenty of copper getting all the way over here. And that's low density structures getting produced once more. This still hasn't been built yet, which is mildly annoying. Here they go. And I just heard a rocket launch. So that's good. That means we are making progress on this space transport platform thing that we're doing. Alright, so that is even more copper going through. And yeah, at this point it looks like we're straight up buffering the copper, which is pretty cool. What is this passive provider chest doing? It's just sitting there in the middle of an empty field. It's not even in drone port range somehow. It's almost in drone port range. Alright, let's just get that area covered. I don't think that passive provider chest is doing anything important, but I don't like having dead zones like that, and we've got space to build a drone port pretty easily. So we have that, and now we are back up to this much low density structure going out. We are about to launch a rocket with some assemblers, and this rocket is almost built as well. So that's all going pretty decently then. And we really need to expand rocket launch systems over here, but it's going to be a big project to do so. Like, we need more of a lot of somewhat complicated things. And I would like to, I don't know, sort of a chicken and egg situation. I want to have some better space stuff set up so that we can help with that, like getting resources off of Novice, maybe, or off of Vulcanus would be possibly quite helpful. Alright, so we're launching some platforms. And we have productivity modules up here. Alright, so we've managed to construct this in such a way that neither of these assemblers are functional, despite the fact that both of them could be functional if it had just been constructed differently. That's funny. Alright. So we're apparently missing some foundations somewhere in here. See where. I guess let's figure them out. So we have a little bit of ammunition produced now. And I wonder if I should just put another asteroid collector over here. Because this is like a whole side of the ship which doesn't really have anything. I mean, there's that one, which goes out to there. Let's see, if I do put an asteroid collector in here, where does it output to? So if we just pop you in, we have to get over to this belt, which, I mean, we're not going to be able to make that whole distance. Maybe we can go under there. Yes, we can go under there, across to that. Then this belt, which is the ammo belt, can go underground for a little bit. Then that will allow this belt to come out and then bring resources down from that asteroid collector. Alright, so now we are just missing that express splitter. What is that warning? Alright, just put that in. We're missing one spot over there. So once we have this splitter in, the whole thing will be working. And then apparently this... Okay, that's fine, I guess. How fast can these go? These go a little more than 1 per second. So, and they can carry 2. So this should be fine to take out the entire production of these machines, I think. And these two take 10 plates. We have... Actually, how much plates do we have here? We have 0.5 times 12. A lot more. Oh, what's going on? Up here in this corner. Alright, how do we fix that? So the first step is to just get a... No, there's already a substation back there, so that's good. I guess I thought ahead. So then, what we need to do is create a little nuisance wall back here for them. So, if we just put these guys in here, like that, this will slow down the biters' pathing and make them a lot more vulnerable to lasers before they can get within range. And let's just add a little bit on this side as well. Alright, then we might even want to do another row up here, just to mess with them as much as possible. And that should be plenty. I mean, the first couple are even beyond our laser range, so that's about as good as we can do. Alright, so that is all set up. This is now more or less going through. We have ammunition going out on the belt. And it's apparently going on the other side of the belt this time, which doesn't really matter. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze real quick. What else is there that we're missing? We are missing the gun turrets, a couple more asteroid collectors, some walls, and then the crafting supplies that I'm bringing. So that's all fine. And then we can go back down to here. And these guys are still missing on the low density structures. What are you short on? It's saying you're short on something. I saw that flicker briefly, but there's plenty of stuff on all the belts. So it's just a case of these inserters physically not being as fast as they could be. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay. A new thing has popped up. Spoiled priority. Sure. I don't know what that is. I guess we'll figure it out at some point. So, we need to accelerate these guys by just getting additional inserters in. And this is probably going to mess with the power. So we're going to have to move that across to this area and get all those machines powered up. Of course, I set it up so that the incredibly high throughput thing was on the far belt. And it's not easy to fix because the steel belt is hooked up to all sorts of other things. Alright, we'll get these power poles in and it'll be at least considerably better, if not entirely fixed. Let's see here. Are you good to go? Yeah, I think you are now. So that's more marginal improvements, which is fine by me. If we really wanted more, we would need to find some space to put more machines, which we theoretically have down in this area. But we are getting pretty close. So you're launching the walls. You aren't launching anything right now. Yeah, so we do want more, and we have, it looks like we have enough of all the pieces that we can add more without too much problem. So let's try to build in this sort of general area. So we need to get these belts all set up properly. So preferably the copper would be on one side of the machines and the plastic and steel would be on the other, just because of the speed. So let's take that out for a bit. So this whole area is getting demolished. And we just need to reconnect those belts when we're done. And it's going to take the drones forever to get everything off of this. Fortunately, we have a lot of drones. Unfortunately, they're all a bit far away. Alright, so now that that space is set up, let's bring this belt over here and down that way. Then we can put in a line of machines like that. And can we fit one more in? If we put it there, then we might be able to. Let's see here. So this belt would have to go along this way. And not go underground. So you would go over like this. And down across all those machines. Then the plastic goes over here. Up there. And then into... Okay, not that belt, though. So you're going to need to swap that around a little bit. So you go into that belt. You output over to there. And then you guys all get powered up. Alright, then our steel belt can finish its journey down to there. And we should be just about done. So then the next step is to take out some of those. That extra machine we put in there is going to be slower than the others, which is annoying. Alright, so now we just get inserters, and inserters. Like that. And then we just need to get the recipes across, get the modules in, get the speed modules in. Okay, now we power all this up. And now we have to figure out what we are doing about the low density structure output. So the plastic is only on one side of the belt here. And I don't know if that's forced anywhere. Let's make that forced, actually, just to prevent any potential problems. So now you're guaranteed to only be on the inside of the belt, and that means that we can then output our low density structures onto this. And, whoops, power poles aren't quite working out. So you get a power pole, you get a power pole. I think you have power pole coverage. You might not have it down there, actually. So let's put that one in as well. Alright. So that goes along. And yeah, we just have to wait for these power poles to get set up. And then, once we do that, hang on, don't progress past that point. I just realized an important step we forgot. We need to filter plastic to the right, and then this output goes in there. Okay, now let's just get that stuff demolished so that we take those off the belt where they don't want to be. And then we just need that last one to get removed, and then we can reconnect that belt up, and then we will be all functional with additional production. Alright, there we go. So now you just go up like that, and we're good. Alright, so that is more low density structures. And they seem to be using all of the copper plates, which is fine. I wish we had more copper plate production, but this is apparently all that this is capable of. Actually, can we squeeze? We can. And this is not going to make a huge difference, but you can go in there, and I think you get like a bunch of machines in this, so that's nice. And that'll make this all marginally faster. And yeah, I mean, anything that's getting past these guys is just all going into here. Alright, so now we're at a point where productivity on the copper plates is the most important thing. So let's make sure that all of those guys have productivity modules and all of these guys have productivity modules so that our copper plates can do as much as they possibly can. And yeah, so as long as we have all these machines down here hardly ever doing anything because they don't have copper plates, productivity modules are higher tier productivity modules are going to be faster output. And the wire output would be marginally slowed if not for the fact that it was basically already capped out by the belt speed. So that's going to be more efficient as well. And that is that. Why are you not running? Oh, I see. Your second input for the copper is not actually getting copper. That's fine. We can just swap those two around and make you go. I mean, it's not a huge deal because obviously we don't have enough copper plates anyways, but it's something at least. Alright, so the wire is doing its best. The low density structures are definitely going faster than they were. And, okay, we actually have... Our rockets are just sitting there now. Does that mean that this whole thing is functional? Yes, and the ammunition stores are backing up. They're almost all the way. So that's cool. Then the last thing we need is... How's the power grid looking on this? Very, very wobbly, but somewhere in the 3s. Now, when this is actually moving, we are going to be getting a lot more input, which means that this is all going to be running faster. So I think we want more solar panels, and we can just stick them sort of in this convenient space. And let's make sure that that's all set up as well. No, not like that. That's ugly. So we can just drag you out like that. And let's do one more row. Alright, that should be enough solar power for the whole thing. And we're just going to have to wait for those to get launched. And we are almost there. We're almost there. What else could we possibly need? Oh, we might want a gun turret or two covering just from the back, which shouldn't happen while we're moving, but it could definitely happen while we're stationary. Also, we need to fill in some holes in there. So if we just want to have like a gun turret there and there, obviously those need to be connected up to some foundations, and then they're going to have a belt going along like this. And that belt just has to reach all the way back to here, where this one goes round and in. And then you get your inputs, and that should ensure that even while we're stationary and asteroids are potentially coming from behind, we should have total coverage. Actually, if I pull this up, yeah, so that's the only spot that isn't covered by anything. Most places are covered by multiple. We should be fine. We should be fine once this all gets built, which is going to take a while. I keep forgetting that escaping out sends me back to there and not to anywhere useful. Alright, so we are launching a rocket filled with some junk. How much of this do we have? We have a little bit of spare, but not all that much. More importantly, we are pretty close to just launching 2 more rockets. How much does this stockpile to? Let's have this stockpile to a little bit more, just in case we have any periods where we're not using it, then we can build up and launch a bunch of rockets quickly. Alright, so now we have 2 more rockets ready to launch once they get supplies. And that is going to be more space platform foundations and some solar panels probably. Actually, we have 29 solar panels here already. Neat. Alright, so then we need our lubricant, steel plates, iron plates, copper plates. Alright. So this is fine, although it's not launching. So are they actually doing anything with this? And it doesn't look like these are being delivered, which means I think we do need to give them some extra requests. So it won't launch non-completely filled rockets, apparently. Is that like a setting that I can change? Or it doesn't seem like it. So we're just going to have to set this so that it wants a little bit extra. How much is a rocket of this? Rocket capacity of this is like 50. So let's give you an extra 100 of that. Oh, it could set custom minimum payload. I see. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. We could just deliver more. Yeah, let's just deliver a full rocket's worth. So rocket capacity is 1,000. This is now requesting 1,000. And we're going to do the same for you. And this is rocket capacity of 400, which was actually less than we had. This is rocket capacity of 100, so I guess we'll set that. And then we probably just don't have enough space in our stockpiles in our drone network for that. So, where are we getting these guys in the drone network? Yeah, so you only have like 3 there. You can honestly just have a bunch now. And you can be a bulk inserter. And you can be a bulk inserter to give you a bunch. So we have those. And then we can do the same thing here. And you can be a bulk inserter. Alright, so what else was there? Copper plate is going. Iron plate is on the way. The space platform foundations are going. Oh, the lubricant was another thing that I needed to look at. Alright, so lubricant. I keep hitting escape and getting disappointed when it brings me back to Vulcanus. Where is my lubricant barreler? It's down here. Making barrels of these seems relatively easy, so let's just set that up. And now it's just mostly on the drones to get the barrels delivered. And these drones to deliver huge amounts of copper up to these guys. So there we go. You are filling up pretty well. You do have a lot of drones. You do have a lot of drones, so this sort of thing can be done pretty quickly. What is this? Oh, that was thrusters. Alright, so we're launching copper up. That's good. We have iron already. We're gonna get copper, and then we should have plenty of space in this hub. Oh, what was that other thing that I wanted that I realized we didn't have? Cargo landing pads. I don't have automated at all. Let's get an assembler for those. And you can make... Where are you? Cargo landing pads. So that is steel, processing units, and concrete. So there you go. And then this pressure chest is steel, processing units, and concrete. And then that can then output to a passive provider chest, which is set to very small numbers. Oh boy. The biters are attacking in here again. That's not good. Someone just like put a laser turret there and a couple of laser turrets along here with power poles to cover them. So they're coming like up here. So this cliff is actually doing a pretty decent job of protecting us. And it's also, and so we can just sort of take advantage of that, I guess. So let's just wall that off. And these lasers are too far back for that to be ideal, but it'll be fine. We can just place a couple extras up here. And alright, we need to like plan in advance and put a laser turret there, because that's where the biter is gonna be at the time by the time the turret shows up. Oh, no, that one still barely had range. That's good. Alright. So that is that problem solved. We can take those laser turrets out and put the solar panels back in. And then we just have to hope that this stuff all gets built before more biters show up. Alright, the laser turrets are going in. How's research? Research is researching. It's going to be another 20 minutes for that. That's totally fine. Alright, so that wall is in. I just realized that these laser turrets, I never powered them up. So we should be secure from that angle for now. And there's a decent chunk of distance down there before anything weird happens. There's also a uranium patch right there, which is fun. Alright, anyways, that's all set up. Let's go up to the rocket launch. So we have spare rockets just sitting around. And they haven't launched space platform foundations. Are we just out? Is our production of those just not working? That's got to be what's happening, right? Where did we make those? Let's see if I can spot them from here. Yes, up here. Okay, so they are short on copper wire. They've got plenty of steel, but the copper wire is a problem. And that is coming from here. And we have not entirely full red belts. Okay, so I can make you a beacon, and that'll speed things up a little bit. So you get a beacon, which will be speed moduled. And there we go. We apparently now need power poles again. And hopefully that will do the trick of getting more of these guys going. We still need the speed modules to get brought down to the beacon for it to actually do anything. Where are they? It's not saying we're short on them. There they are. Yeah, okay, so they just have to come from a bit further away in the factory. And from 3.7 up to 9.2. So this should... It should at least fill that one side of the red belt, probably. So they go from minus 40 to plus 50 just by doing that. So actually just like one beacon with speed modules and one of these is marginally faster than just these two, but it's such a small difference that I'm not worried about it. Okay, here they crunch down to a Mark 1 belt for some reason. Let's fix that. And keep that going all the way down to here. Although that's the red circuit production, so that doesn't really need the fixing as much. It's this side over here which needs the help, which did get it from that upgrade up there. So that is substantially more copper wire going through that. And these are Mark IIs. So let's just get them upgraded. And so now they have enough outputs. Okay, there's a couple copper plates on that belt from last time. Let's just get these guys speed moduled as well. Just just in case we do have enough wire now. So if we have enough wire, then those speed modules will make this production very fast. And we've added additional inserters here just to make it go even quicker. And someone really ought to get those iron plates off that belt, which I guess if we just build another belt out here and then dismantle it, it'll move the iron plates over there and then get rid of them. Alright, iron plate's gone. And a nice, neat, single item belt. So these two together are producing like one every 2 seconds, which isn't horribly fast, not terribly slow either. So we're still a little bit short. We need 17 more. So that's not bad at all. And the rockets are doing fine. And that's good, because that means we're going to be building up reserves of these. And yeah, let's actually just make that much larger so that we can have tons of those just sitting around in case we need to use them. Rocket fuel. Well, that rocket fuel source is not doing too great, but we have another one over here, which is doing fine. No issues with that. Blue circuits are not incredible, but decent. Got a couple hundred spare. And let's just make that extra. Just absolutely any blue circuits we can produce, we're always going to need. Alright, what is going on over here? Just big biter attacks. Alright. You know what I need to do? I need to just make this thing a blueprint so that I can just copy paste it a bunch. So let's call this annoying wall. There we go. So now we can paste this just a bunch of times, and that covers most of the laser turret's range, so that should be okay. Now we've lost a laser turret up here. Okay, so they've started going around that wall, which, if anything, is just proof that it's working well. Oh, right, it's got to go like this, and that can just go in there. Now back to here. We can now place this blueprint along this whole area and up here as well. And then, just in case, let's expand the actual wall over. And this place is not getting repair packs. Not getting repair packs very fast at all. Let's see, where are our repair pack production? Is that still functional? Because it very well might not be. No, it's still good. We've got more repair packs than we can ever use. So that's fine. And blue circuits are still going. Alright. So this transport platform is all set up. We've got plenty of iron. There isn't much more I can do. Let's see, these are 0.5 per second. Let's just do the math to make sure we have enough ammo production. So these guys are taking in 6 per second, and so they're going to be outputting like 6 per second. This is like 10 per second. There's no need to speed module them. We can't speed module these or we'll run out of iron ore from this, even if it's going full speed, which it isn't necessarily. And okay, so the other thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that this is going full speed, because theoretically if there's periods where this isn't getting any whatever meteorite chunks, then that could be a problem. So if we just if we take that out, then what would that do? Well, this would eventually jam because the output can't do anything. That's what would happen. Okay, wait. Maybe I have an idea? No, that wouldn't work because we don't have enough space. I could, like, have the output go to a belt here, which then merges, like, priority merges into here. But that wouldn't work super well, I don't think. So instead, let's have this. I'm going to have to remove that as well. And this is going to have to go up and over and fill in some of that extra foundation. Alright, so instead of just going straight out like that, you are going to loop down like that, and you are going to be input priority left because it's backwards. So now any ore that gets output, that gets past this, will just go looping around. And then we need this to still be outputting, so we need you to like go up there and have an inserter to get rid of the ice, and then we just need input priority left. Alright, so that's just sitting there like that. So now the problem is, let's see, if this whole loop gets filled, then what? Alright, let's go input priority left, output priority right, and then we can take you out. And does that fit? Technically, if you think about it. Alright, I think that works. So, if they can't go here, they should go here and then get output, and maybe this whole thing just doesn't work, but even if it doesn't work, it should probably be fine. Oh wait, no, that's not good. That's not good. Alright, that is not ideal. So there's just one guy on... There's actually a couple of them on there now. So let's dismantle that, rebuild it, and this... I don't know why I did it like that. I obviously meant to do it like that. Alright, so that stuff is looping. And then if that doesn't exist, and it can't output that way, then will it output this way? We just need to wait to get another asteroid to check that. So for the ice and the coal, it's fine because those aren't like critical defense, but we do not want this to be running out of supplies at any point. So yes, it does. So now that's full, and it outputs the extras off into space. So this should be fine. This should be fine. Alright, so do we have everything we need? We've got lubricant barrels. We've got various crafting material. We've got electronic circuits. We've got refined concrete. We should be able to make foundries on Vulcanus. And theoretically, if this works, it'll be relatively easy to just have it go back and forth between Vulcanus and Novice. So, okay, we're still missing that guy. What's wrong with you? Why do you not exist? Oh, I think I might have dismantled it. Yeah, so you can go back in like that. Alright, so if this works, we'll be able to relatively easily go back and forth between the two planets. And if it doesn't work, I mean, it's got to be just better than what we had last time, so we should be able to technically make the trip, if all else fails. Although power might be a concern. Alright, yeah, let's just launch this and see what happens. We've got probably enough power. We had less ammunition production last time, so the power drain will be more intense this time, but we also have, I think, considerably more than double the solar panels. So that should be totally fine. Yeah, let's send this off and see what happens. Oh, we've just finished mining productivity research. That's fun. Okay, what else can we even do? I guess we can get physical projectile damage, and that will also help a lot. And weapon shooting speed, I guess. Alright, we are going to set that and go. Alright, off we go. Hopefully this all works. We have a good amount of ammunition in reserves. We have a lot more capacity to produce ammunition than last time. And our size is only marginally wider. So we should be good. We're grabbing all sorts of asteroids. Alright, so the larger asteroids are starting to show up. I guess technically we're heavier and a little bit wider, so we might be a bit slower too, which will probably help a little bit in terms of not getting completely obliterated by asteroids. I don't know how much of a difference that'll make. Okay, this gun turret... Do I have spare gun turrets up here? I do. And do I have spare belts? A couple. Alright. This gun turret doesn't seem like it's gonna be enough to deal with all this entire side on its own, so let's just add a second one in. And those two combined should be plenty. So all of these sides already have multiple gun turrets. Alright. So far, so good. The ammunition seems to be falling ever so slightly behind, though, which is not great. Alright. Speed modules. You guys get speed modules to make all the ammunition that we can. They won't be able to sustain that. The inserter isn't even fast enough to do it. But it's something. Is this getting output full at all? It is. Okay, that's bad. Alright, so let's put extra drain in there. And hopefully that helps keep the iron supply going. Right, we are doing much better. We are doing better. The iron supply is worrying, because if that stops, I mean, the ammunition is already an issue. The ammunition is already a bit of a problem, and we're not even there yet. Alright, we are 2/3. We are at 2/3, and the ammunition is still fine-ish. Let's see, which one ran out just now? It doesn't look... Oh, it's this one ran out. Okay, that is the one protecting the ammunition supply, so that's a little bit concerning. But we're just gonna have to hold for a little bit longer. We're almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, okay, so when we're shooting asteroids, we just have, like, more chunks than we can possibly know what to do with, basically. Especially if we do this whole looping system, which we're going to need to figure out how to do it better. Alright, now that gun is out. But we are, like, 500 kilometers from there, so we should be fine. We should make it all the way. Yeah, okay, so now we're here. Speed is decreasing. And we are good. Alright, so our looping system here didn't work. It didn't keep space on the belt. It did not keep space on the belt for this output. But it seems like it's fine now. And actually the... Oh, actually the fast inserter just isn't fast enough. Well, that's a much better problem to have. So we can't do that now, obviously, because we don't have any bulk inserters on us at the moment, but we can just replace those. And now that we're stationary, assuming that our coverage works, which it does, we should be safe now, more or less. Does this have any spare? Yeah, I mean, even have 78 repair packs, so if something does go wrong, it should still work out anyway. Alright, in the meantime, we can put another inserter on here to get this going faster. And then we can disable that, maybe. Alright. So now we're chilling. So, we can now send some stuff down to ground level. Oh, I didn't bring the cargo bay with me. That's fine. What's this alert? Unclaimed items waiting in drop pods. How? Why? What's this? Why did it send me 20... Why did it send me this? Okay, I guess... I guess we'll dismantle that. Alright, so back up to here. I really wish I had remembered to bring the cargo bay. Actually, how do you craft a cargo bay? I might be able to just do it on site. or the cargo landing pad. Steel plates, processing units, concrete. Right, so I didn't bring processing units or actually, I have concrete. I didn't bring processing units, so that is impossible, which is unfortunate, but fine. So we just need to bring down the supplies for a foundry, which are the steel plates, the electronic circuits, the refined concrete, and the lubricant. Alright, so let's send you down. Send you down. And some electronic circuits. And some refined concrete. Alright, so that stuff is all showing up. Why does it say we have a gun that's out of ammo? How is that? So this front section isn't getting enough. But we do have iron going through, so it should be fine, and we're hopefully not going to be wasting any that we do manage to grab. So hopefully that will eventually work out. If not, we're going to be in pretty serious trouble again, but hopefully it's okay. Alright, so we can grab that. We can grab that. We still barely have inventory space. Alright, we've researched physical projectile damage, which actually is pretty great. So that should mean we need less bullets per asteroid, which will help out a lot. So we'll set you up to make foundries, and then just manually fill you for now. We've got those. We've got... Where did the green circuits wind up? Did I just didn't grab the green circuits. Here they are. Green circuits. Find concrete. We need a unbarreling recipe. What are the unbarreling recipes? I can't remember how those work. Are they assembly machines? Yes, they are. Empty lubricant barrel. And then that pipe just goes across to there. And then we're going to need to collect the barrels as well. And you get some of that. And some more of that. And some more, I guess. How much lubricant do we need? Not a huge amount, fortunately. And then we need tungsten carbide. So how do we make that again? Carbon, tungsten, or sulfuric acid. I'm pretty sure I had... Yes, so we have this down here. And we just need to grab carbon, which actually we might be able to just yoink from this. Yeah, let's have you fill you up with some carbon. And that will be easier than mining it manually by trees, although this does have the side effect of filling up this space, so we're gonna have to dismantle this when we're done. Let's just get like 2 stacks for now. Okay, apparently that's all that we have the resources for now. So let's just drop the carbon down, and we're gonna have to wait for that to actually land. And we're also gonna need to grab more tungsten carbide, which is just sort of like in these rocks. All right, there's my carbon. Lands down here. And we've got some of that. All right, so we just run down to this and feed you a stack of that. Cap that off. This is mining the sulfuric acid, so that's fine. And power. Right, so we don't have we do have accumulators here, actually, so we should be fine. So let's grab that. How much tungsten carbide do we need to actually make one foundry? It's 50. Okay. So we need that. And, alright, that's one foundry done. But we're going to need more tungsten ore in order to keep that going. Alright, so we go up here. We shovel all that stuff in. And we're going to have us a foundry. Which is pretty neat. So that just goes in like that. And we've finished the big mining drill recipe. Which... where is that? Allows you to make tungsten steel plates. Alright, so we need to craft a big mining drill, which is red circuits, electric engine units, tungsten carbide, electric mining drills, and molten iron, all in the foundry. Alright, so we can't really do that for now. But what we can do is... we can do some crafting recipes, but not all. Some of those, and more importantly, molten iron from lava, which is calcite and lava to stone and molten iron. And we can do copper as well. And then we can turn regular iron ore into molten iron, copper ore into molten iron, and then we take our molten iron and we can cast it to plates of various kinds, or directly to steel, or directly to gear wheels, iron sticks. Ooh, casting directly to low density structure. That seems fun. That probably saves some time. I'd have to look at the efficiency on that. And then we can also cast concrete and copper wire directly as well. Alright, foundries seem kind of neat. So we're going to need calcite. We're going to need calcite mines and lava. So the lava is easy. We've just got lava. The calcite is slightly less easy. It's just up there. And we're going to have to mine it and bring it over. Speaking of which, how is the transport platform going? Alright, so the ammo has backlogged all the way. The ammo is backlogged all the way, and we are not having any problems with taking damage. I don't see any damage anywhere, although we have repair packs, so that's maybe obvious. Alright, so we should be good to... just like have it hang around for a bit and then go back for another trip. Alright, so we are up here. Yeah, because we're going to need more power poles, among other things, in order to get this going. Although, actually, we can just set up, like, a local power grid again. That's not that difficult to do. Alright, so we get a bunch of those. We get a bunch of those. And then we can use substations. And apparently one substation can cover all of these guys. And then we just need to go over, not directly on the calcite mine, and just place a whole bunch of solar panels. And then they are going to get a substation or two. Actually, can I just like take one out in the middle to pop that in? There you go, you get a substation. So now those are all connected up. We're going to get a couple of accumulators in here. And then we just need to connect these two substations together, which unfortunately is going to need a couple of those. Alright, so now we have calcite mining. And we have lava just right here. Did I leave my foundry over by the other stuff? I think I did. I'm gonna bring that over to this area since we have calcite and lava right next to each other, and that's just more convenient. Alright, so we are going to take that down, and actually, how hard is it to get another one of these? We need a lot of tungsten ore, which I think we're going to need. Let's see. Actually, what do we need here? We need molten iron and tungsten carbide, and then everything else we can just import from Novice. So that should be fine. I do want to get the molten iron set up here first. That's weapon shooting speed. Very nice. What else is there? All that stuff requires yellow science. Let's do steel plate productivity. I'm not ready to go to a new planet yet. I'm absolutely not ready to go to a new planet yet, so we're gonna not do those researches until we are ready. So we get a foundry. I'm gonna pop you somewhere like that. And you are going to go molten iron from lava. Alright, so now we need a pump, which needs engine units. Of course it does, and of course I didn't bring those. How do you craft engine units? Is that hard? Steel, iron gear wheels, and pipes. So we don't have enough iron plates. Alright, well I can just drop those off from the transport platform. Just send those down. And might as well send some copper down as well. And we want to leave some stuff up here for the space platform in case we need to do mid-flight repairs like we did on the way over here. Alright, so let's run back this way and pick up those plates. I do have enough inventory space for this. Barely. Alright, so now I should be able to craft an engine unit. Note the bonus that the foundry has by default. Is it just more efficient at producing the things that it produces, maybe? Let's see here. Productivity plus 50%. Is that what you were referring to there? That's handy. Alright. Anyways, we have the stuff over here, so we need to set down we need to craft some engines. Engine units. Where are engine units? There we go. So you get a stack of steel plates. I'm going to need to manually craft some gear wheels. You get a stack of pipes. Alright. So we get gear wheels producing over here. And there we go. So that can make the engine units. And how many of these do we need per... Wait. It wasn't pump, was it? It was offshore pump? Where's that? Oh, that's much easier. That doesn't need engine units. Okay, I'm just dumb. This is why they shouldn't have multiple things with very similar names that do different things. Oh well. There we go. So that is a lava pump. And it's going to be going off to there. And that can pump just like a huge amount of lava. 1200 per second, and this takes 125 per second, which is pretty neat. Alright, so let's bring power over to there, and then the calcite. And I just realized I pumped that into the exact fluid outputs, but that's fine. Alright, so now we have stone outputs, and we have molten iron. And everything that we have to do with molten iron goes in another foundry, right? Like, all these recipes are foundry recipes. So we're gonna need more foundries than what we have. So how do we craft the big mining drill? It's just tungsten carbide and molten iron in a foundry. Alright, so I'm going to need to grab a whole lot of tungsten ore in order to get enough for that. And then we're going to have to make... How much are we going to need? We're going to need another foundry, so that's another 50 tungsten carbide there. And then we're going to need another 20 for a big mining drill, so we're going to need 70 tungsten carbide. Making foundries and foundries. Yeah, pretty much. Alright. So this, we need a lot. And we also need to not run out of inventory space. So let's just pop a steel chest down somewhere. And all of this coal can go away, and the stone. And I don't need that ore. Alright, that should be enough space. Actually, I can just... If I just mass dismantle a bunch of you guys, then you should bring all the resources back. And that is quicker than manually whacking them with a hammer. Alright, so now we have... How much do we need? Like 140 or something? Tungsten ore? Because it's like 2 to 1. Alright, so that's fine. Then we can head down here. So this is where our sulfuric acid is, and this is where we make the tungsten carbide because pipes are a bit expensive. So we can throw all that stuff in. And now that is going. Do I need... Oh yeah, so it's output full, so we need you to get a box like that. And then we need more carbon as well. So up to the transport platform. You can load up more carbon to send down to me in a minute. And in the meantime, we need to do more rock dismantling to get more tungsten. So there we go. And we can throw that in. We're up to like 40. Here's some more rocks. And some more rocks. And those are not the right type of rocks. These are. Alright. My drones are not really fast enough to do this terribly efficiently, but actually if I just run over them, apparently they get immediately picked up. So that's handy. Alright, that should be enough tungsten. So we can throw that in. Go up to the transport platform. Shove another 30 carbon off. And I guess we can swap some more of these around to get even more. And we're going to have to run up to collect that carbon. Should be around here. There it is. And now we can head back down. Man, this is... It's super weird doing this in a game that's... I mean, I have automation, but just not here. Alright, so that is going. We have a good solid chunk of tungsten carbide. And I could probably be like productivity modulating this to make it more efficient or something, but this should be enough. Alright, now we can run up to this area up here and get another foundry made, maybe? Yeah, and you can make foundries in foundries, right? But I don't have a spare foundry because that's the one making the molten iron. Alright, so I have everything currently except the lubricant, which... Right, so I just have to go over here to get that. These cliffs are really, really annoying to navigate. And apparently you can get cliff explosives from this planet, which will definitely make that a lot nicer. For now, we are just desperately trying to make our way around. Alright, so here we are. And we can throw that in and give you more of that. Alright, so that's another foundry. So now we have to run all the way over to here. And at this point, actually, we need to send the transport platform back. So what do we need in order to make a big mining drill? We need an electric mining drill, which we have. We need electric engine units and advanced circuits. Alright, so transport platform. I am going to send you back to there, and oh, you were set to automatic that whole time. So hopefully you can make that journey safely. And we're going to have to refigure out what its assignments are. So you need advanced circuits, just like a stack, custom minimum payload, a stack, and electric engine units. You need like a stack, the custom minimum payload of a stack, and that should be fine. Oh, I also want more power poles, and yeah, let's add in another like 200-ish power poles, and I could use some belts as well. We're getting a bit low on those. Let's see, what else is there that I might need / want? We're doing fine on assembly machines and electric mining drills. I guess a whole bunch of pipes could be... we're at like 5 seconds away from automating pipes. That'll be fine without those. And then the other stuff, we still need to make more foundries, so that's fine. Alright, that should be okay. So assuming that this makes it back safely, we should be all set up. Alright, so that is just going along. Meanwhile, we can take our eyes off of that for a second, which hopefully doesn't backfire. And just chop out one of those things so we can make this trip a little bit easier. Alright, now we are up here. We can set up our second foundry. Where is that? Did I not grab it? Did I not grab the other foundry? Did I just leave it in a box over here or something? I don't have radars, so I can't even go and check. Alright, that's fine. We are going to have a bit of time to kill while the transport platform loads up and makes it back anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. So over we go. And... oh no, it was in my inventory and I'm just incredibly bad at seeing things apparently. Wonderful. Okay, what do I have? I have laser turrets and gun turrets, so the danger area is where the tungsten ore is, and I think you get attacked if you try to build in the danger area. But I have a lot of turrets, so hopefully it'll be okay. We're gonna have to figure that out, but hopefully it's fine. All right. So, anyways, we get you in, pop you in like that, and you are gonna be set to make big mining drills. So you get a couple of regular mining drills and some tungsten carbide, and then you get rotated that way to get the iron. So this stone we currently do not need. We can just dump it into a lava river, and that will get rid of that. So in the future, we're probably going to need the stone, and then we're going to have to like put it into a proper storage system or something with an overflow into the lava. But for now, we just need the iron. All right, transport platform, how are you doing? You're a third of the way there, and everything is looking fine. So you are providing plenty of iron ore. The guns are shooting down everything that they need to. And everything else... oh, right. We need to stop collecting excess carbon and start getting the engines going at full speed. Yeah, so the thruster fuel wasn't maxed out because we had the carbon messed up. Now we've got that fixed, and we can move on a bit faster. Alright, this is basically just going fine. Have we even used any... no, we have not used any of our repair packs. That 78 and a bit is what we had last time I checked. So we haven't used any of our repair packs. Our ammunition supply is doing just fine. We are going faster than we were because we accelerated this, so that might cause that to change in terms of the ammunition consumption. But we did get a damage upgrade for physical damage, so that might be a part of it too. I certainly wouldn't complain if that had just solved the issue, basically. Yeah, so that is going through. It's a little bit dicey sometimes. Yeah, I mean, they're getting close, but they're not hitting. I might want, like, an extra gun or two in each of the areas just for security. But it looks fine. Alright, so iron plate production mostly holding up. Still have a couple output full ones which can still do stuff. This isn't apparently having any problem getting rid of the spares that it produces. And this is only having to get rid of a little bit of iron asteroids. And we're almost there with very little difficulty. The ammo was getting a bit low there at the end. but that's fine. So if anything, I just want like... I just want this belt to be a little bit longer, basically, just so that we have more storage. Because yeah, the trip back, we won't have full capacity the entire time. So we got like a third of the way there before we went to full speed. So that probably is why the ammunition was doing so well early on. So that is something to consider. We might need one more ammunition producer, and or maybe we can squeeze a beacon in somewhere. That might be easier than fitting another machine in. If we get a beacon in, then that can get like all of this faster. Like if we replace this with a beacon, it'll make that faster and that faster. Alright, anyways, we are stopped at Novice. We are waiting to load up. Now let's see if we have the ships for it. Yes, we do. And we should have plenty of stored up resources to launch lots of rockets quick. So this should be faster than usual. It's not going to be a quick process, but it should be quicker than usual. And now this is the point where, I mean, we have plenty of those. We have plenty of these. And let's just make that fill up as much as physically possible. And we've got plenty of rocket fuel. So I think I might want to just add... What is this? What is this? That drone... What? This requester chest surely was meant to go into this assembly machine to make those. Okay, I don't know what that was about. So we're going to cut that and paste it over there. Get you powered up so that we can have those automatically producing. And then go to there. And that's going to cause all sorts of weirdness in the short term. Because the drones are going to be carrying all the stuff that was in that box away. Alright, and then, what I want to do is I just want to copy this and just get another one of these guys in. And it can have its beacon as well. And so that is copied. The settings are copied. Alright, so that should just add a third rocket onto our launch capabilities, which should make things go a lot faster. So these guys are now sending up some of the other things, like the electrical poles. This doesn't have enough concrete, but it'll get there eventually, probably. So this still has deliver requests for more concrete, so there should be some showing up. How much concrete do we need? Like 1 billion? I do want to have a cargo landing pad so I can stop having this whole, like, running around dismantling the launch things. Alright, so that's going to mean that this runs a little bit. But it seems like that's mostly sorted by this point. And now we just have another one of you, just all functional and ready to go. Very nice. And we have this. You can just do like 2 stacks, I guess. And then we have to go up here. And you are going to request one of those. Cargo landing pad. Just have one of them. That should be a whole rocket capacity. Alright, so these are just being produced still. It takes a lot of rockets to get anything launched. We've got 47 poles in that one, so that's going to go off now. This one is up to the mid-30s. So that should be a solid amount of electrical poles for at least basic work while I'm over there. And now we have 3 rockets being prepared. So that rocket was just launched. This one already has backup. This one's already a good portion of the way to having a backup. So this is launching the refined concrete. Alright, things are looking good. Things are looking good. The red circuit supply to the old factory isn't ideal. But when has it ever been? Science productivity has been decreasing because of a lack of purple science, looks like. So we do not have rails. Why do we not have rails? So this guy is going. And okay, is it just because it's a single machine making 5 per second? Oh, no, we don't have sticks. Alright, so you need to get upgraded. And you need faster inserters. How is power going? Power looks like it's still fine. So the stick production is now going a lot faster. That should make a difference. And I guess that's just because we had to make a bunch of medium electrical poles. So that's fine. You can just go along like that. Make 5 per second. This can handle 15 per second, so that's not going to be an issue. And this needs 2.5 per second. This needs like 10 per second. So this should now be getting enough sticks, like exactly. So that should be all clear. And then hopefully that will also do enough to keep the purple science going. Launching up some refined concrete and some more power poles apparently. Is our power pole supply... Okay. You need to be upgraded. You need to be upgraded. Because you're just like annoyingly slow as it is. And speaking of annoyingly slow, I think we want you to be speed moduled, just so that we can make enough iron sticks to get all this stuff running. It's gonna be pretty inefficient doing it that way. Actually, yeah, we can actually fit you in. Give you some of those, and then you can swap back over to productivity modules. Yes, I know you just put those in. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then we're going to need this to all be a bit faster. So we can do that. And the drones are pretty busy at the moment. So now this is going to be more efficient, because the iron plates, I mean 5 iron plates per second is so many. And now it's a lot less. Now we are back up to 9 sticks per second. but only 3.75 iron plates. So that should be good. This is still going to be short on sticks forever, but it's better now at least. And let's just have that storage be a little bit higher, just for future problems with that. So the iron plates are on the way. Copper plates are on the way. And we haven't sent up a cargo landing pad yet. Or a lot of the other crafting stuff, which it's somewhat dubious whether I actually need or not, but it will be nice to have. We might need more of these, just to make sure we have enough storage space for all the stuff we're sending up, because we are sending up a fair few stacks of things still. Alright, so this is just waiting on those two before we can get tungsten mining. And let's see, in order to automate, what else do we need here? We need a foundry making steel plates. We need electronic circuits, refined concrete. I don't even know how to do that here. I don't know. We'll worry about that later. For now, let's just be looking over here. We have a lot of logistics drones active, over 1,000, and they're filling up this green circuit launcher. That's fine. So you are filling up with lubricant. So that's perfectly fine. You are going to be taking the red circuits up. You are working on green circuits. Good luck with that one. We do have a full box of green circuits, so that shouldn't be much of a problem. But they are going pretty fast. They're definitely going out pretty fast. So that's lubricant, that's green circuits, that's red circuits. What else is there? There's the electric engines, and then some of the other stuff for just building up the station itself. Okay. Yeah, speaking of which, let's make this change. So you get to be a beacon with speed modules. So that should make these guys go insanely quick. Or at least this one. Make this one go insanely quick, and that should get us over the edge in terms of the amount of ammo we have. And this is still doing fine. Alright, lubricant is here. And we need to send the cargo landing pad up pretty soon. It needs to be like basically the next thing, or else we're not going to have the space for it. Or, not the cargo landing pad, the cargo bay. So hopefully that is next up on the list of things we're sending up. Nope, red circuits and more green circuits. Why is it sending up more green circuits? Don't I already have a bunch? No, I don't. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Let's just unassign you for a second. Let's just unassign you for a second so that we can make sure the cargo bay gets brought up. There we go. That's bringing up another 10 cargo bays, which should be plenty. And then, now that that's going, we can reassign you to get the rest of the stuff launching. Not enough transport hub space available. Yeah, we will be fixing that soon. Alright, so we got another couple rows immediately, and then let's just keep this expanding out. Just add in another 2. Alright, don't have the space because of solar panels to add in more there, but we should have plenty of space now. Yeah, that's tons. That's tons of space. And then we're going to be sending a lot of this down into the cargo bay. Alright, so now we just need the green circuits, the electric engines, and the rest of the foundations. So the green circuits are loading up. And they are apparently sending up a whole giant thing. Why are they sending up a whole giant thing? Yeah, can you... I guess having extra green circuits isn't gonna hurt. I guess we just leave them to it. There go the electric engines. These are doing fine, although I think I want them to produce more so that we have a good stockpile of that, because you need a lot of those in order to build anything. Alright, blue circuits still fine adjacent, but definitely could be doing better. We have done a lot of launches. Over here we've got these drained down to like half, and the rocket fuel is probably fine because we have a ton of that. Yeah, rocket fuel is going fine. Alright, so this is not terrible. Are you still loading this up? Yeah, you're almost done though. Alright, so that is green circuits. Oh, did we just have power die? Yes, we did. Yikes. That's pretty bad. Yeah, we are currently at 0 for power. Now, the assembly machines, electric furnaces, beacons were a reasonable part of that. Accumulator charging. Roboport's not a huge deal. It's the assembly machines, which we're running a whole bunch of. Alright. How do we expand the solar array? We need to just sort of go down here. And we need to make sure that this all lines up properly. And there's a very good chance that this is going to result in more biter attacks. And was that not lined up correctly? That feels... it feels like something went wrong here in terms of the alignment. Like, how is that? That's definitely overlapping some. I don't know, that's weird. I guess we're just going to place it in and not worry about it. Alright, but that's only like 3 more. And we're probably going to need more than that. Yeah, so really what I want to do is I want to just like move a lot of production onto space platforms, because the power is more efficient up there, because the solar panels are more powerful, and you don't need accumulators because there is 24/7, and it also, obviously you're not going to run into cliffs and stuff, and there are no biters, and it doesn't cause pollution. So that would just be very, very efficient in general. which is why I want to do that, but it's sort of a long-term project. Because we would need like a whole space platform up there, just like to do the iron mining and smelting, for example. And I think there's like a technology for making copper off of metallic asteroids, which I don't currently have. Let's actually see. Asteroid. If I just type that in, what does that get me? Bioflux processing, asteroid reprocessing, advanced asteroid processing. I think this is what I ultimately need. Maybe? Yeah, advanced metallic asteroid crushing gives iron and copper. So I would need that in order to get copper up on the space platform. So for now, I mean, we can move a lot of the iron processing up there, I guess. But a lot of stuff needs iron and copper, so it won't be perfect. Alright, anyways. Hopefully whatever we were doing there was just drawing more power than usual, and it'll stop soon, and then we can have accumulators. Although it looks like we're getting close to the end of this day, and I don't know if, I mean, we're not anywhere near our full charge capacity, which is not surprising because we do have more accumulators than needed, but it's still a bit worrying. Alright, so this is all set up. We have our cargo landing pad, we have our cargo bay, we have all the stuff. We have electrical engine units and advanced circuits. So let's send you off to Vulcanus. And hopefully you make it safely. You should be fine. Still haven't taken any damage that our repair pack has done anything with. Alright, let's just continue to look here. Alright, the grid is doing better this time than it was last time, which is good because we entirely ran out of power last time. And that's both because of our new solar arrays that are running, and I guess probably also we're just not using as much power this time. Because we were doing a whole lot of rocket loading, which is expensive. Alright, now the power is dropping off. We're actually only a little bit higher than we were last time, which isn't ideal. Alright, so transport platform is going. Damage taken 0. Alright, that's what we want to see. Alright, I need to copy those settings over so that we don't get junk on this belt. That would be bad. It probably won't happen because we have this, but you never know. Alright, you've basically only just started, so there's not going to be much to look at there. What is all this? Oh, that was... yeah, okay, that's fine. That's not connected up to anything. Over here we have our green circuits and our red circuits. And we're making some of that stuff. Power is draining pretty precipitously. That's not great. Alright, what is this? Electric furnaces just suddenly started draining more power all of a sudden. I do not know why that could possibly be. Alright, so this is going along just fine. So there's not much to worry about here. Still damage taken 0. We're halfway to Vulcanus. And Yeah, the power situation is pretty bad. Actually, that night might have been worse than the previous one. So now our power is completely dead. We can turn on... Okay, I guess we can't right now, probably. But we can turn on some of this old steam power to give us a bit of a fighting chance. But there's not much that we can do, honestly. So we can turn the steam power on. That'll get things going a little bit. So we have technically some power at night so that we don't get destroyed by biters. So now we have semi-functional laser turrets, probably. And that is fine. Actually, is carbon a valid fuel? Fuel value 2 megajoules. Coal is 4, so yes. So if we want to have steam power, and we don't have enough coal for it, which hopefully we should, we can just dump some carbon off of the space platform to help with that. So now with the steam engines going, we should be a lot better. Because it's only going to be a little bit of a difference, but it should mean we fill to a higher percentage of our accumulators and then drain more slowly. So that should help on both sides. Over here, still haven't taken any damage on the trip. The ammunition is continuing to not be quite entirely stable. And that is because these inserters just physically aren't fast enough. It looks like the iron supply might be fine. So yeah, there are definitely improvements to be made. Definitely improvements to be made. But we are here. So we can first drop off the cargo landing pad. And then take control over my character again and run over to where that's going to land. And how do you get through this? Oh, that's fun. You can actually see the shadow going across as it lands. I just noticed that. That's cool. Alright, so we run around through here. And then up to this. Alright. So now I am just going to run back over this way and set the cargo landing pad down over here so I don't have to make this journey every time. The stuff will be just physically over by where I'm mostly building. And that will be quite handy. Alright, so cargo landing pad pops in there. And now we just have to grab the red circuits and where are the red circuits? There they are, and the engine units. And we're probably going to need some of this other stuff as well. But that should land down here. There we go. Alright, so we can grab those, and hopefully it doesn't require like 1,000 of each or something. Yeah, no, this is good. So this gives us our big mining drills. And that gives us the tungsten steel technology, which... where are you? So we need to mine some tungsten ore and craft some tungsten steel plates, which is tungsten ore and molten iron, and that will give us the metallurgic science pack. Alright, that's fine. 21 entities are being damaged. Alright, that's fine as well. Alright, so now we need to get this tungsten ore out of that area, which is gonna be a bit sketchy probably. So from what I understand, once you destroy the thing that is causing the danger, then it disappears and that area is safe. So hopefully this is manageable. I just realized I'm going to need to send down some of this other stuff. Give me my electrical poles and my belts. And actually, probably shouldn't have sent down all the belts. There's a small potential that we have an issue with that. Let's grab some iron and some copper while we're at it. And some assembling machines and beacons and electric furnaces and some more lubricant. And what else do we want? Most of the rest of this stuff I don't think we need. So let's grab our power poles first and foremost. So now we should be able to connect up from that up to this. And now we have more charge because we've connected these two halves up. And now I want to just make like a decent sized solar power now that we're mostly going to be connected up. Let's just, this is not the right way of doing this, but it's kind of funny, so that's what we're doing. And then we should be able to cover this with substations mostly. So we just do something like that. Get all of them connected up. And then we just have to get this bit down here, which is really hard to get to. Wish we had cliff explosives so that we didn't have to deal with all this. Okay, we are starting to have an inventory full of junk away. So let's get you in, throw out all the ore, and the tungsten ore as well. We don't really need that. Okay, now I want a bunch of accumulators. And just get a whole giant amount of those. That's apparently all of them that I have. That's fine. I've used most of the solar panels that I have as well. Alright, so hopefully, I mean, how much does a laser turret even take? Energy per shot is 800 kilojoules, max consumption is 2.3 megawatts. Well, hopefully this much power will be enough. We need to get those couple guys connected up. There we go. Alright, so we have a good amount of power production. Now we just need to go and do something very risky and fight some giant worms of destruction. So hopefully the laser turrets even work. I don't know if they will, because I think, like, I don't know, laser resistance is like a thing that they might conceivably have. And that would be a shame. But we're just gonna have to get down there and figure that out for ourselves. Alright, so this is the guy. Resistances. Electric 20/20%. Physical is 50%. Fire, laser, and impact are all 100%. Okay, so basically we're not going to be able to laser this guy. We need either gun turrets or electric zappers. Now we have unlocked electric zappers or something, right? Did we ever make the turret version of those? I don't know. I don't think we did. I don't even know if the turret version of those even exists. Alright, anyways, so if that is not going to work, laser turrets aren't going to work because it has 100% resistance to them. So we are going to need to rethink this, and we are going to need to set up some ammunition, I guess, to make some guns and hopefully shoot it to death. So if we're just back up here, we've got our pipe of molten iron. We should theoretically be able to craft another foundry. We need to just get the lubricant and the tungsten, whatever it is. So that we had a box up here with some, but not a huge amount. So let's grab some of you. And then let's see here. How much of this stuff can we get just by dismantling? Alright, so this is going to fill my inventory with junk again. Of course it is. But it should give us enough tungsten to build another foundry. And we just need to... Let's see. So tier 1 firearm magazines are pretty easy. Piercing round magazines are actually not that hard if we have a couple of foundries, but we don't have a couple of foundries, so I think we're just gonna try it with regular and see what happens. Alright, so now we're down here. We get... Actually, we should be able to get this one set to make a foundry instead. And then we fill it with plates, green circuits, refined concrete. Okay, then we need to go down here and get some more tungsten carbide brewing. Can't wait until this is all automated and we don't have to run around quite as much. Alright, so we need to throw some of that stuff in and then call down some carbon. That should be enough of that. And actually, let's start getting this belted over. I don't know if we have enough belts for it, but if we just bring you along here, then that's most of the way up, and we'll at least be able to collect our tungsten in this area. We don't have it automated yet, so we're gonna have to manually fill it anyways. Alright, so that's here, and let's grab some of that carbon and run down and get it going. Alright, so here we are. So you get a bunch of that. And that should give us plenty, probably. Actually, let's let's just have that in a box there. So that should be plenty of carbon so that we don't ever have to worry about that part of this process again. And then we're just going to be sending all of the actual tungsten up to this area. And I guess boxing it up here. We've got power poles, we could just do that. And now we've got 50 exactly, actually. Alright, I just heard some fun sounds. It's always worrying. Alright, so now we need to get the lubricant unbarrelers, which is just there. And then we can run this pipe across and then give you a box full of lubricant barrels. Yoink more from that and pop them in. And then you need to output the barrel itself. So that should be everything now. Oh yeah, so here's another foundry. So we've got a good couple of them now. And let's just keep this going. Do I have any more steel? No, I don't. Okay. So we want to make another one so that we can get the 50% productivity. So we need more steel and more tungsten carbide. Now the steel we should be able to do here, right? If we check this, then we can just cast molten iron into steel. And that should be good to go. So let's just get you over to somewhere with space. And then you are going to be casting steel. And the pipe goes the rest of the way in. You get powered up. And then you output the steel all the way over to here, where it just goes in to that. Alright, so that is that. And this is giving us 93 molten iron. This is using 37 molten iron, so that's plenty. So we have enough steel now. The next thing we need is to grab more tungsten carbide, which we're going to need more tungsten ore for. Alright, how are things going over here? Alright, the last night was totally fine, so that's good. Power situation seems to have stabilized. Don't know what all that was about. And then we're just like losing the occasional thing because that's just what happens. Cool. So we can just pay more attention to this now. So we need tungsten carbide, which means we need tungsten ore, which means we need to get into that area. Actually, we should be able to... Let's just put this off for now. So, you are going to get swapped over to casting iron, where you are going to then take your belt over this way, and that gives us a good solid chunk of iron plates. So we are going to just have an assembler convert those iron plates into firearm magazines. So you get powered up, and then you output into a box. Alright, so that is a starting supply of firearm magazines. And if we want to upgrade to piercing rounds, we need copper and steel. which would be just 2... Well, it would be 3 more foundries. That is a lot more foundries. So, did I ever... Where is that big mining drill? There it is. Can mine harder ores, and is probably just faster and bigger in general? Yeah, faster and bigger in general. Cool. Alright, so we need a lot of ammo in order to even try fighting the giant worm of death. Yeah. Alright, so we need more ammo to try fighting the giant worm of death. This setup needs more foundries, which needs more tungsten ore. Let's just grab everything we can. This should have a good solid chunk of tungsten ore. And then we can dismantle up to here for another 40-some. Alright, then all this stuff goes out. I cannot wait until we have the giant worm of death beaten and we can actually do stuff. Alright, so we need to go all the way down here to feed this tungsten ore into the tungsten carbide making machine. There you go. And I don't have productivity modules on me. Are there any up here? Yes, there are actually. Let's send some of those down. We need some productivity modules down here. Alright, in the meantime, we can just continue tearing down random rocks for tungsten ore. And just how much of this is... This is mostly not tungsten ore. What's our inventory situation? The inventory situation is bad. Alright, we get another random box full of random junk ores that we don't need. And you get a little bit more of that. We still have plenty of carbon in there. Alright, so it's all happening. We can run up to this area now. And we have a lot of that, so we can make at least another batch of this, which gives us 2. Alright, so that, then we can set up another one of you, set you to make molten copper from lava, and then we're just going to need to get some of this stuff over there somehow, which is actually going to be a bit difficult, it seems. Alright, no, this shouldn't actually be that bad. We just need you to go under like that, you to curve, and then you can go into there. Alright, so that is the calcite. Then we just need... Just making another underground, another offshore pump would be easier than routing that pipe around. So you go into there, and you get lava. So you output stone up to there, and you output... Gosh, this is kind of an inconvenient direction for it to be facing. Let's swap you around like that, so that that's better. So then you can output your copper like that. You get a foundry, which goes into there, and will then cast some copper, and Then we just have to have that belt go off somewhere. Alright, so that is attached. Molten copper, fluid ingredient short. Oh, why is there an inserter there? Obviously, that needs to just be a pipe. Now we have copper. Alright, so we have ammunition, we have copper. We just need one more foundry to make steel. And then we will be good to make Mark II ammunition and potentially have a chance against the scary guys that we need to get rid of to automate tungsten. So let's just tear all this stuff down and just grab it all up. Alright, so that should be enough tungsten ore. We can run down and get this going again. Alright, so you get all that, and that's good. Now our drones will show up, and I don't know what they're taking so long to do, but now we're sending tungsten ore up here, which we can use to make another foundry, and then we can use that foundry to make steel, and then we will be making tier 2 ammunition. So this is, we have to get up to like 50 or so. We're at like 30 now. 38. And then we can run back down, grab another 14. And that should be good to make another one of you. Alright, and then you go there. And you make cast steel. And so we just have to flip that around, run the pipe up, and output onto a belt. Alright, so now we take another one of you, make piercing rounds, and alright, that belt doesn't need to go forwards. This belt does. So you go into there, that whole thing gets automated, so we have steel, we have the tier 1 ammunition, and now we just have copper. So now we can output this into a box, and that will be going places. Do I have speed modules on me? I do. Do I have the power to run this with speed modules? Probably. Yeah, looks fine. Maybe. Alright, so the question is, how many of these am I even going to need? And will it be enough? So let's see. If we look down here, this is sort of just like the abyss of mysteriousness. I have no idea what's down there. We have 36 of that ammo, a couple hundred of this ammo. And let's see here. Is this gonna be okay? These do how much damage? They do 8 plus 6.4 physical. And they each have like 10 shots. Then these ones do a lot less. Alright, I don't have very many belts. So if I want to do this, I am going to have to just bring those down manually. Alright, let's Let's unload some stuff from the inventory. We don't need these ores. We don't need these plates now that we have those producing on site. Alright, so that's all going. We have a stack of ammo now, which is, like, theoretically maybe enough. Probably not, actually. I don't know. This probably is going to need so much ammo. Let's just run down and check. So each shot does 8 plus 6.4. I think these guys have, like, some physical resistance or something. So let's head down and investigate. Go through here. Just follow this power line, which I built when I thought I was going to be using lasers for this, which I am definitely not. Okay, so now we're in the danger zone. I don't see the guy anywhere. But he should be somewhere in this region. Apparently if you build anything in the danger zone, that's when it shows up. So how about I just, like, just as a fun little experiment, let's just build this power line forwards. Alright, so first of all, I am in the danger zone now, right? Yes. I don't see him. He might be pretty slow. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I can probably run faster than him, right? He looks pretty slow. Alright, I don't know. I read that if you build something in the area, then he shows up. I don't know if it has to be like a proper thing or if just a power line will do. I don't know. Let's put down a machine and have the machine do something just in case that's important. What recipes can I do just off of stuff I have in my inventory? I don't have... I guess I make like... I don't know. I could probably do something. I saw him passing by this general area a while ago. Last time I was down to investigate. Yeah, so what can I actually have this machine produce? I don't really have any crafting resources on me at the moment. I guess that was a bit of an oversight. Oh wait, can I place... Oh. Alright, he's angry. I know he's angry because I got an achievement for it. I don't see him anywhere. Okay, let's take a bit of a step back and see what happens. I should have brought a radar down. That would have been smart. If I brought a radar down, I would be able to watch from a safe distance. I still don't see him. Alright, so he's pretty slow, which means I should have a decent amount of setup time. I should have a decent amount of setup time if he's going to be this slow. And then there's just the matter of, like, how exactly I fight him. Like, is it going to be fast enough that I can just set down a single bunch of turrets and just have them blast him to bits? Or is it going to be like a running fight type of thing where I have to like place down turrets, let them shoot for a bit, and then pick them up and go somewhere else? I don't know. He still hasn't shown up. I could have, if I wanted to, run back, built a radar, and brought it over by this point. But yeah, he's real slow then. Alright, I'm pretty sure I have a radar up by here or something. I'm pretty sure I built a radar at some point. I'm gonna leave, and if he's destroyed it and left by the time I come back, Yeah, he's probably coming in from the right. If he's destroyed it and left by the time I come back, that's going to be annoying. Alright, entities are being damaged. That's fine. I just need to yoink some iron plates. Actually, I can yoink them from there. Let's craft a radar and then run back. So this should let us watch from further away. Alright. So over we go. We can follow the power line at this point. Alright, it looks like he still hasn't shown up. Oh, no, I see him. I see him. There he is. Alright, so he is kind of slow, but that's a lot of health. That's a lot of health. 30,000 health per segment, and he's assumably got a bunch. What if I shoot him? What if I shoot him? What then? Okay, I shot him, and now he's coming for me. Yeah, okay, that is unsurprising. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now I wonder, is he gonna follow this power line all the way up? And he might follow the power line all the way up to my base and destroy my base. That could be an issue. Yeah, it seems like that might be what he's doing. Alright, maybe if I create a section where there's no buildings, he will get bored and turn around and leave. Alright, it looks like he got bored and turned around. However, did I do any meaningful damage? I don't see any damage at all anywhere. Okay. Good to know. Fortunately, he left before he hit anything significant. He left before he hit anything that I actually cared about. He just destroyed a bunch of power lines. So that's fine. But he's going to be a lot harder to fight than I anticipated. Which means, okay, that extra, like, demolisher thing on there, that's just because that's where I last saw him, is really throwing me off. It makes me think there's two of them or something. Okay. So this guy is an absolute monster, basically. Now, physical is... yeah, so we just have to not mess with him, basically. And then it'll be fine. But, unfortunately, the only tungsten ore patch on the entire planet is within Demolisher territory. I guess it's technically possible that there's another patch up north, but that seems unlikely. So we are going to need to fight him, almost certainly. Unless, like, this tiny bit of non-Demolisher territory up here has a tungsten ore patch. And so let's just hope that that's the case. But it almost certainly isn't. Yeah, it's not. Alright, so... we are going to need to either fight him or just, like, take advantage of the fact that it takes him ages to get anywhere. Like, I guess theoretically we could, like, place down a bunch of miners, mine a bunch of tungsten ore, and then pick everything up and run away before he gets to us. That's technically an option, I guess. Okay. He took out another power line on his way back. That's fine. Yep, and there goes the assembly machine as expected. So let's... oh wait, we have to pop the armor on first, and then pick up the corpse. Alright, you don't need to rebuild this line of power poles. In fact, I now suspect it is very, very important that we not have a big line of power poles luring him directly to our base. Although we could, if we wanted, have a big line of power poles luring him, like, somewhere else. Like, not to our base. So we could like lure him into a trap that way somehow. But we just need to have as few of these power poles as possible. Alright, so now those are all gone, and so now as long as I don't specifically run in this direction when he attacks me, then it should be fine. Okay, so basically, shooting a random pistol at him, not a good idea. Now let's grab a stack of piercing ammo and see what a turret can do, I guess. I'm only gonna need, like, realistically, this thing is not gonna live long enough to expend all that much ammo. But yeah, we do have setup time. That's the advantage. We can build, like, a lot of turrets and stuff in the time it takes for him to get from wherever he is to over here. So I do want to have radars kind of close, but I think we're just gonna have to have the radars powered just with like an independent solar panel so that we don't lure him back to the base. So we go down here. This area is far enough back that it might be fine while also close enough. Let's see, where's our radar? Alright, so we have you, and you get a solar panel, and you get an accumulator. Where's... oh, I used all of my accumulators. Alright, so this radar is only going to work during the day, but that's fine. Alright, so we now have vision on the guy. He's right over there. So if we wanted to if we wanted to poke him again, we would want to run like over there and set up, basically. If we wanted to actually fight him, that's how we would buy enough time. Okay, here's a question. Can my drones... Actually, I suspect that the turret's health is not going to meaningfully help. Oh no, they just repaired it anyways. Fine. So can my drones place a turret with ammo on it? No, not that. So if we copy you and paste you... Alright, so you don't automatically fill the turret with ammo. So, if we wanted to fill a couple turrets real quick, let's just get these last two repaired while we're at it. So we would need to just like set up. So if we have something like this, and something like this, and then we need a solar panel to power it all, because we don't want to be connected to the grid, because that would be a terrible decision. Then we have a box here, which we put the ammo in. Then we could like place this pretty quickly with drones, and as long as it's during the daytime, it'll be fine. Alright, so let's try that. So we're going to copy that, delete the existing one. And where's... Alright, so the guy is not currently within radar vision. So if I just run down here, and... okay, I didn't want to build that part. So we just put... I cannot build on hot lava. Alright, so you can go in, I don't know, just anywhere, and then you get, where'd the ammo go? Oh, the ammo all went here. Alright, so you get filled up, and then this should be within range of this radar, so I should be able to just run back here. So if I'm back here, I can monitor this whole situation without being nearby. And let's just move some of these power poles that aren't needed. Alright, now we run back here and we wait for him to show up. He wasn't that far that long ago. We've definitely built some stuff in his territory. So I want to see how well, just like 4 gun turrets, not a lot of ammo. See how well that does, and if it does decently well, then that's a start. If we're able to do like any damage, any meaningful damage to him, that would be cool. Although he had that big AoE effect, which might just destroy the turrets. I don't know. This is what the science is for. This is why we didn't bring that much ammo or that big of a setup here. Alright, I still don't see him. Stuff is happening on Novice. Alright, so these each have 10. That's the correct amount. The panel is keeping them going. And I'm not going to get a huge amount of warning because of where the radar is. I just want to see him show up and destroy this. Does the tooltip say anything about his health regen? I don't think so. Actually, if I might be able to pull this up. Healing. Oh, that's a lot of healing. Okay. That's terrifying. So we need to, like, nuke him, basically. Like, that's basically the only thing I can think of, if that's accurate. Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of healing. And alright, we're gonna see if that happens in practice. I don't know, maybe he only heals under certain circumstances or something. But yeah, if this doesn't work, we are just gonna have to nuke him at that point. And I don't have that tech unlocked, so it's gonna be a whole process. Alright, he is very, very slow. So I think Operation Tungsten Heist might actually just be like what we have to do. Like, we just put our big miners down, mine a bunch of tungsten, get it off, and then dismantle everything and run away. We're not going to get a ton of tungsten, but we should get like a decent chunk at least, which is better than what we have now. Alright, where is the guy? He still hasn't showed up. He still hasn't showed up at all. He is so incredibly slow. Alright, we have steel plate productivity 7 minutes away from being done, so that's cool. It's not hugely relevant, but every little bit counts. I guess now that we have, like, kind of basically... Once we can get rockets launching off of Vulcanus, then we can start just, like, producing a huge amount of iron and copper off of these lava lakes. And that will be very efficient. But until then, it's going to be a bit rough. So we need... The next thing we needed to do was make tungsten plates, and that is tungsten ore and molten iron. So I should be able to get enough tungsten ore, and then let's just... Okay, has the guy showed up yet? No, he has not. Let's just get one of these foundries I already have. So you can make tungsten plates and yoink some of that in, and that should give us the tech at least. Alright, so we have those. Now, where... Yeah, so now we have... I think it didn't show up for some reason, but now we have all of these guys unlockable off of metallurgic science, which is tungsten carbide, tungsten plates, and molten copper. So we are going to need a fair amount of tungsten for that. It's 3 and 2 per each one. And then the techs themselves. So asteroid reprocessing takes like 500. Cliff explosives is like 500. Coal liquefaction is like 500. And what else is there that I really want? I guess asteroid reprocessing is the big one. There's like artillery somewhere that I haven't gotten, and artillery might be the solution to the demolishers. Either artilleries or nukes. Alright, here he comes, actually. He's showing up. These guys have such bad range, though. Alright, there he is. And... yeah, no, that's nothing. He's already fully healed. Alright. So yeah. Also, it's randomly it's fortunate that it happened to be nighttime just... Oh, wait, what's he doing? Is he going for more? No, he's going down this way. Alright, that's fine. Alright, so... we are going to need to do... we're going to need to do Operation Tungsten Heist. So we're going to need to make, like, a bunch of big mining drills. Plop them down on this. Extract as much tungsten as we can. And then run away before he shows up. And then hopefully that'll be enough to get some science done. And then in the meantime, we need to start working on nukes, basically. Because he is not immune. He's probably not immune to nuclear damage. I don't even know what type of damage that does. But anyways, I think we're going to wrap up there for today. It's about when I usually wrap up. And we have witnessed the effectiveness of our weapons against those guys. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. I will be doing Satisfactory tomorrow, and we'll be back to Factorio on Friday. So make sure to stop by and see those if you're interested. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time and play various factory building games. So that's about it. Thanks, everyone.